What's going on YouTube? This is Brian916. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be part 2 of our Toolbox tour. We got a little bit of downtime here at the shop, so I'll take advantage of downtime and we'll go over there and get the tour done on my little Stanley box and also my larger Husky box. So let's go take a look and see what I got. We'll go through all these drawers and this little small Stanley toolbox that I picked up from Walmart a few years back. So let's start with this Stanley and we'll see what's in this. We'll start with this top hatch right here. Nothing special in here. You can see I got just some clutch alignment tools here. Every time I do a clutch job, I just sort of keep the alignment tool. I know a lot of mechanics do. If you don't, it's a good practice. You never know, you may have to remove a transmission just to replace the rear main seal, and you may need to put the original clutch and pressure plate back in, you know, so you can find, you know, a clutch alignment tool that fits it. So that helps you. Right here I got a bunch of Rock Auto magnets. So this pretty much represents all the parts that I bought at one point from Rock Auto. So so there's a stack of magnets from Rock Auto. Let's see, just got some AC discharge nozzles right here. Got some oil change reminder stickers right here. We got some evap stuff in here. This is an exhaust cone. You can smoke out the exhaust to be able to find exhaust leaks. Also, you can also get some gas tanks too and smoke some gas tanks out with this too on certain vehicles. Here's another little adapter for the evap service port. So you screw this on a service port, be able to smoke out the evap system. Just some little contraptions that I made for evap to be able to smoke out a gas tank. This little thing as well, it's another little contraption I made to be able to smoke out a gas tank. I made this thing in a jam. It actually works too. You just sort of push it up against the fuel chute and just put some pressure on it and smoke it out, and it actually will smoke out the gas tank. You see the other hole right here. So it actually works. Let's see, got a piston ring compression tool. This is a Craftsman, I do believe. So we got a Craftsman, got a made in USA Craftsman. And then we got let's see, some Schrader valve tools. This side I believe is for like tire Schrader valves, but this larger end works for like AC lines and evap lines. So you get two different size Schrader valves. Got a few of these in here. Some piston ring pliers. I don't usually use piston rings pliers. I usually ring by hand, but if I ever need to use them, I do have them. So you just spread the piston ring out and, you know, set it over the piston. So that's pretty much it in this top drawer. I got a little cheap cutoff wheel, HDX. We all know that's the cheap Home Depot stuff. I do got some filler gauges in here, center filler gauges. All right, so that's pretty much it for what's in this top. Let's move on to the next. And the next I got just a couple for sale signs in case I sell a vehicle. I do sell vehicles from time to time. If a customer has, you know, needs a new motor or a new transmission or something and they don't want the vehicle, a lot of times I'll make them an offer on it if the situation is right. Or a lot of times they may ask me if I want to buy it. And so that happens. And so I have, you know, a couple of these, couple markers here. Got a Chinese marker here. And that's pretty much it. Next drawer, this is gonna be like tire stuff, I guess. Just got some tire inflators here, two different styles. One's digital, and one just has the typical style. See what else we got, like some tire plug stuff. I'll be able to plug a tire. We got that. Got some extra little lug nuts here, different assortment in case a customer might need a new lug nut. We'll throw one on for them. Another Schrader valve tool. Got a razor blade. I believe I use this to cut off the excess plug if I plug a tire. That's pretty much it for that drawer. This drawer here is my brass wire wheels. I use these quite a bit on my DeWalt. I know you guys probably, if you watch my videos, you see me use these little bits to clean up different surfaces. And this is a nice soft metal brass. It's not too abrasive. I've never damaged anything by using these. Of course, the right application, using it on the right application. Got some nylon brushes, and there's a brass brush in here as well. Little hand brushes, clean up things. So that's pretty much it. Got a little hacksaw here, and some mechanics wire. A couple old chucks here for something, I don't know. All right, so that's what's in this drawer. Moving down to this bottom drawer, just where I keep my silicones and stuff. This is actually liquid electrical tape, and then got some gasket shellac, which is really good to use for oil seals or core plugs, aka freeze plugs. So if you're doing a rebuild, these are good to, this is good to put around freeze plugs. Of course, some assembly lube, thread sealer here. Got some Loctite. This is the gel Loctite. And then some JB Weld epoxy, some RTV here, ultra black, got some high temp, and got another ultra black in here I haven't opened yet. Oh, this here is for Volvo, this pink stuff. Any of you guys out here work on Volvo, you know this stuff is used for sealing up cam covers on Volvos. I imagine it's some type of anaerobic sealer, because if I put a dab of this stuff on here, it'll stay liquid whenever it's exposed to oxygen, and whenever it's not exposed to oxygen, it turns hard. So I think that's an anaerobic sealer is what they call that. Just got some little Harbor Freight zip ties in here. So that's pretty much it for that drawer. Let's see what's down here. Nothing much down here, just got some tape, electrical tape, some duct tape, you know, just different varieties of tape. Some bungee cords, got some stickers and stuff. That's pretty much it for that drawer. And at the very bottom here is where I keep my large puller. So I haven't met one thing this large puller couldn't pull. Stuck drums, hubs, hard to pull off, you know, hubs. This thing will pull it off. See what else we got. Just a little electric drill, honing out cylinder walls, or drilling into a broken bolt with a drill bit to try to extract it. Got some little cheap cutoff wheels. We don't do a whole lot of cutting here, but if I do need to cut, I do have a cutting wheel. Got some big masonry drill bits. These are 3/4 like concrete drill bits. Me and Des, the Auto Tech, put the lifts up here in this building, so we bought a few of these to be able to get our lift put up. So I got a couple masonry drill bits in there. That's pretty much it. Got a little cutoff wheel from Harbor Freight. I got a grinder from Harbor Freight. Anybody who has these little Chicago Electric grinder knows that they work pretty good, especially for the money. Got a little bit of rope, or twine rather, just to make sure our columns were straight when we put up the lifts in here. A little palm sander. So that's pretty much it for down here. Don't really go in this drawer too often. All right, so that's it for this small box. Let's check out the bigger Husky. All right, guys, so up here on this top hatch, I don't really close it. I usually just leave it up here and, you know, throw got my dust mask here, or to protect me against dust, primarily brake dust. A lot of times when you do brake jobs, you get brake dust that fly up, especially if it's like some semi-metallic pads, even just impacting the lug nuts to get the wheel off on brakes that's severely worn or put a lot of dust in the air. So I always keep some dust masks around for that. I got a jump pack here. This is my cheap jump pack. I got a more heavy duty jump pack, but this is my cheap jump pack. Not in a sense that it's, you know, it doesn't work, because it does work, but it's cheap in a sense of it'll only jump maybe 3 dead batteries at a time. And you know, a severely dead battery, after you jump it, it'll drop the power, you know, straight down to 2. So this is the jump pack that I'll loan out, or, you know, take out of the shop if I'm doing something mobily or something like that. So so that's this. I just leave it up here because there's some electrical outlets right here, so I'm able to just plug it in and charge it and everything. So that's where I'll leave this up here. And also I got some LED lights that's rechargeable. These actually came on a stand, you know, a little stand like this. And I used to use them when working under the vehicle. When I get it up on the lift, I would just point these up under the vehicle to be able to, you know, illuminate the work area. But my stand broke, but the lights still work. So I didn't throw the lights away. They still work pretty good. So I kept the lights, and I do use them. All right, also I got this lockout kit. If me or Des Auto Tech accidentally goof up and lock a customer's key in a car, you know, we could get inside the vehicle. I've never had to use this, but just in case, we got it just in case. And also came with this little rod here to be able to reach inside the vehicle to, you know, unlock it. So I keep this little rod right here. And that's pretty much it for the top. Just got one little side point I wanted to mention on this DeWalt impact gun. I bought this impact gun back in like 2008. And this is their older style impact drivers. You can see here that this is how the new style DeWalt impact drivers look. And they got a little bit smaller, and they still deliver the same amount of power. Reason why I don't use this one anymore is, and I had to buy another one, is because when you put a battery in it, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. If I squeeze this trigger, a lot of times it won't work, and sometimes it will. So you see how it worked, and then let me squeeze it again, it may not work. So this thing's intermittent. A lot of times if I hold it, it'll kick in after a while. So obviously, you know, I had to get another impact gun. I can't wait all day for this thing to decide to work. I'm pretty sure there's some guy out there that could fix this thing. I hate to see it go to waste. So if there's anybody out there that could fix it, if they want this gun, let me know in the comments. You're more than welcome to it. All right, so that moves us down to this first drawer up here. So let's see what's in this drawer. All right, so up top here, we'll start with, this is a timing tool. This is for Chevy, a 1.8, but it also works on a 2.0, I believe. This is specifically for Chevy Cruze. we did a head job on a 1.8, and I believe I did a head job on a 2.0 too, and I used this timing tool to get them both back together. I think there's a 1.8 is like a turbo, and I think the 2.0 might just be like a DOHC motor. So this is how it looks in the inside. All you GM guys probably use these quite a bit. So this is how the timing tool looks. It doesn't look like much now, but it makes sense when you put it all together. And this is sort of like a locking tool, I believe, in back of the cam. And then this thing right here goes around the cam sprocket or something like that. But anyway, I had to buy this tool. I had, believe it or not, I had 2 Chevy Cruzes with blown head gaskets that came pretty much back to back to the shop. And I fixed like one right after another. So I ended up having to buy this tool. All right, next I got a power steering pump pulley remover tool. And this is by OEM. I've had this for a while. Yeah, so this is just a power steering pump pulley remover and installer tool. So I just got finished replacing a power steering pump too. So I just used this thing a minute ago. All right, next we got a harmonic balancer / steering wheel puller. This is a Harbor Freight set. I've used this tool quite a bit. I haven't found one harmonic balancer that uses this style to pull up that I haven't been able to pull. The bolts pretty much do all the work. So yeah, I haven't had any problem. I also pulled a steering wheel with this too on a 78 El Camino, and I haven't had any problems using this tool. So if there's any tool by Harbor Freight that doesn't work or it's junk, I'll be the first one to let you know, and we'll move up to a better quality tool. But if it works, it works. All right, next we got just some trim tools here for prying trim pieces out. And this is also a Harbor Freight tool. Again, for the type of tool that it is, it's just a piece of plastic. You don't want to pry too hard on any trim pieces. For the most part, they just sort of snap out, pop out anyway. So yeah, never had any problems with these trim tools. These trim tools work pretty darn good. And I got these from Harbor Freight. Got some little headlights here. If I need my hands free or something like that, just got a couple of these I can throw on. Got some gloves. I've actually had these snap-on gloves for a few years. If I'm working on a hot engine or something like that, or I'm working on exhaust that's a little warm, I'll throw on my snap-on gloves and prevent myself from getting burned. All right, so next I got my torque set. It's got inverted torques in it, and regular Torx drive, and security Torx or non-tampering Torx. It's going from E4 to E18 on an inverted Torx. And on the regular Torx sockets, we got from Torx 8 all the way to Torx 40. And we also, same thing, oh, actually it's from Torx 8 all the way to Torx 60 on the Torx sockets. But on the non-tampering the non-tampering or security Torx, we got from T8 to T40. So that's a pretty complete set here. Torx drive or E-Torx type fasteners off with this set. All right, so over here I got just like some little electronic or electrical like repair type stuff with just a little bits. You can hear them in there. All of this stuff's no longer in there, but I just got these little bits in here, and a little bit of shrink wrap and stuff like that in there, a little bit of wire in there too. Let's see what else. These are retaining rings for 1/4 inch impact guns. If the sockets keep falling off the impact gun, a lot of times you'll have to replace this retaining ring. So I got a couple of these just in case that happens. Just got some little air chucks here, some oil for the air gun. So that's pretty much it for this top drawer. So let's move on down to the next drawer. We'll see what we got. So in this drawer, there's wrenches in here. I got a set of Tecton 8mm through 19mm stubbies, and these are some pretty decent wrenches. So yeah, I highly recommend a stubby set if you don't have one. Tecton is a good, they make pretty decent wrenches. And then also I have a ratcheting stubby set. These come in handy. It's actually come in handy for me a couple times. So I got a ratcheting set, and then in the corner here I got some just like some midget wrenches. So these midget wrenches are Craftsman, and a lot of these little midget wrenches come in like a set. If you buy a wrench set or some kind of mechanics tool set from Craftsman, they throw those in there. Next we got some external Torx sockets. Look up here, this is like an E-Torx on a wrench. And so I got a set of those, and this set goes from E8 all the way to E20, actually E22. So that's this set from E6 actually all the way to E22. So these come in handy if you work on BMW or European vehicles. Got a set of Pittsburgh line wrenches. I picked these up in a jam. I needed some line wrenches to crack off a fuel line. The fuel line looked like it had been used with a regular opening so many times that I didn't want to risk rounding it because I didn't have any line wrenches. So I just ran up to Harbor Freight and picked up a set, and been using these things ever since, man. I haven't had any problems with these line wrenches. They go from sizes 8mm all the way to 22mm, but the 16mm is skipped, so it doesn't have a 16mm in there. It goes from 15 to 17 with no 16mm, and as you guys know, a lot of GM fuel lines are 16mm, so I might end up getting another set of these for that reason. Got a bag of crow's feet. I believe this is just a set from like 10mm to like 19mm by Craftsman. And then I got a set of right wrenches here. I use these wrenches here primarily for the opening. These have been some really good wrenches by Right Wrench. Highly recommend them. But the only thing is they're a little short. So I don't really use them for the boxed in, you know, because typically when you use a box in, you know, you want to put a little leverage on it and bust the bolt. But on this one, I use the opening because it's got like sort of this serrated edge or whatever they call it. It's got little teeth in here, and it does grip pretty good. So if I'm taking like a coolant temp sensor out or something like that, using the opening or a fuel line or something like that where I need to use the opening, I'll come here and I'll use these right wrenches, and they haven't let me down yet. All right, moving on to the next drawer. All right, so let's see what's in this drawer. This is my my jumbo wrench drawer. In this drawer, I got all kind of wrenches in this drawer as far as brands go. And it's my jumbo wrench drawer. You can see I got a big 36mm Tecton wrench right here. Big 34mm Tecton right here. So you can see that this is my jumbo wrench drawer. But also I got other wrenches in here that I use to just beat up. If I need to, you know, hammer on a wrench or modify a wrench or something like that, it's gonna be one of these wrenches in here. You can see this one I cut in half and bent it, modified it to use it. Let's see what else. I got a Pittsburgh in here, 17 millimeter. You can see that I bent this wrench. The curve on it is exaggerated. I bent this wrench to be able to access something. This is a Pittsburgh. So all these wrenches in here are just wrenches that either my jumbo wrenches or just some wrenches that I could beat up, stuff like that. And I got every brand in here. Well, not every brand, but I got a lot of brands in here. SK wrench in here. Not even on the right side. So you can see I got a SK wrench in here. I got Duralast wrench in here. Pittsburgh. Craftsman. Allen brand, if anyone's ever heard of Allen brand. Let's see. Of course, Tecton is in there. That's a Mako wrench in there. So it's all kind of different wrenches in here. Anybody who watch my videos know I'm pretty impartial when it comes to tools. I just like tools, period. So it's Husky. Yeah, I just like tools, period. So I'm pretty indifferent when it comes to a particular brand. If I like it and I think it'll get the job done, I'll purchase the tool. Although there are some tools that I'm partial to, but for the most part, I'm pretty indifferent. Companion brand, that's like a cheap Sears brand. So anyway, these are all the wrenches in here. So let's move on to the next drawer, see what we got down here. So in this drawer, it's not organized in any particular fashion. If something fits in here, you know, I just put it in here. So we'll start with my harmonic balancer puller tool. This is specifically for Chrysler. This is what it looks like. Get Chrysler off with it. Some GM too. I use this primarily for Chrysler products. I don't know the brand on this because the sticker came off, but I believe I bought it on Amazon. So it says, like it might say performance tool maybe. But anyway, nonetheless, works pretty good. Next to it, my set of triple square bits. I don't use these too often. We don't work on a whole lot of Audi, but I have done a head gasket on a Kia Soul, and a Kia Soul uses, I believe, a 10 millimeter triple square bit, an M10. So I did do a head job on a Kia Soul, which used a triple square bit on the head bolt. All right, over here I got some various retaining pins. These are actually door pins or door panel pins for 90s model Silverado, Suburban, and Sierra pickups and SUVs. We actually get a lot of those around here. We don't have a rust problem in California, so we still have quite a few 90s pickups on the road. And you know, by now most of the door pins come off, the door handles are messed up, so we kind of get a lot of those. So I kind of keep certain door pins in stock. Right here I got an assortment of various retaining pins. You get a splash shield that's hanging off as it lost a few retaining pins. So you know, I keep some of these around to be able to put them back on for the customer. Next I got axle bearing tool. Whenever changing axle, rear axle bearing, solid axle, not CV axle, got a set of those. And this is actually a Pittsburgh set. I bought this Pittsburgh set to replace another set that I had for years, and I haven't had a chance to use these yet, but I bought it as a replacement to another set that I had. So next I got these Astro retaining ring or snap ring pliers, and these pliers here work pretty good. You can see the tips on them. On cheap pliers, they usually bend up and break on you, but these have been holding up pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with this Astro snap ring plier set. Next, I got a Craftsman 3/8 drive torque wrench. So basically your inch-pound torque wrench. So I'm going to be in the market for another one. This is a Craftsman. You can see all the numbers are starting to fade off. And I notice a lot of Craftsman products, you start to get numbers that fade on them, on their sockets, on their torque wrenches. So Craftsman, if you're watching this, make your numbers a little more solid so we can keep your tools for years and won't have to throw it away because we can't see what number. All right, next just got a little tool to remove retaining pins. So here I got an impact driver tool. Man, I've had this tool for a really long time. It still works. I really can't remember what the brand is on this thing. It's been too long. I've had it for too long, but I want to say I might have bought this from an auto parts store. All right, so next, over here in this corner, I got a timing tool, and this timing tool is specifically to set the valve timing on Land Rover, Range Rover, or Jaguar. So this is a timing set to get those V8 Jags and Range Rovers back together and get the valve timing set. You see here, it's a timing tool for Jaguar, Land Rover. All right, last but not least, in this drawer, I just got a laser pointer thermometer. Help you diagnose how the efficiency of a radiator. You can check the upper radiator hose and compare it to the lower radiator hose. See it, make sure the bottom hose is not the same temperature as the top hose. Make sure your radiator is cooling efficiently, amongst other uses for this. All right, next drawer. Down here we got basically a diagnostic drawer, if you will. In this particular drawer, we got some Noid lights from Astro. Got some compression gauges, various gauges, different hoses. I got a exhaust back pressure gauge here for checking plugged exhaust. Let's see. Got an angle gauge for putting engines back together when dealing with torque to yield fasteners. Some various circuit testers, aka test lights. Got a ignition tester here, or spark tester. So you got another spark indicator over here. Got some dial calipers here, or technically digital calipers. Here, got 2 of them. Got an assortment of fuses that I picked up from the junkyard. Voltmeter, remote starter, a couple back probes, test leads. I picked this up as a inspection camera, be able to put down in the cylinder, and you hook it up to your phone or your laptop, and so you can use that screen to be able to see. At one point I was able to use this with my tablet and use my tablet, but it stopped working. It's called Blue Fire. I don't recommend it. Just buy a real bore scope or a real inspection camera. Then just got some pocket screwdrivers that they give you off the Snap-on truck. That's pretty much it for that drawer. So let's see what's on the next drawer. So right here, basically just got some smaller pry bars in here. These are Tecton pry bars. Got my hose hook. This is by OTC. Got some larger picks here. These might be Pittsburgh, I'm not sure. Got a fan clutch tool here. I bought this off the Snap-on truck a long time ago. It used to actually be a whole set. I can't remember what happened to all the other pieces that came with this tool, but I bought this off the Snap-on guy. Also bought this Blue Point off the Snap-on guy around the same time. So I got this Blue Point adjustable. And let's see what else here. I got some large adjustable pliers here. These are made by Crescent. Let's see what we got here. Got a little El Cheapo adjustable, which should be in the garbage really, but we'll see. May hack it up and make some other tool out of it. Let's see, you got some scraping tools here. These are just like some razor blades from Pittsburgh. I believe I got these from Hardware. And got a Craftsman gasket scraping tool. Let's see, got a chain wrench, self-explanatory. Be able to jam up a pulley or lock a pulley down, if you will. Just got some quick disconnect stuff in the corner over here. Also got some quick disconnect stuff specifically for Ford, but that's in my other toolbox. Got a fan clutch tool in here. This is specifically for BMW. This is this holds the pulley for you. This is like the pulley holder for BMW. You just sort of bolt this to the pulley and hold it in place. And then you come in with this 34 millimeter wrench. It's thin to be able to fit in there. This is specifically for BMW fan clutch tool. It's 34 millimeter. So I got a BMW fan clutch tool. Got some files in here. This is a Craftsman file. And these two files are made by Nicholson. I believe it says Nicholson on here. On these two files. Let's see. Got some punches, some chisels in here. And these are made by Craftsman. all my punches and chisels I bought from Craftsman. That's pretty much it for this drawer. Let's move down to the next drawer. So in this drawer, I got some spring compressor tools made by OEM for struts and stuff like that. I just got a little gear puller here. Got a Pitman arm puller tool. Tie rod separator tool or ball joint separator tool. Got a 3-jaw puller. This is by Powerbuilt. It's actually a 2-jaw puller or 3-jaw puller. So you can put one puller here and one puller there and make it a 2-jaw. Or of course you can put it, skip this one and then put it here and here and make it a 3-jaw puller. Of course, here's the other arm for it. So, got a 3-jaw puller there. This is a brake caliper set. This is by Pittsburgh. Never had any problems using it. I guess the only thing is maybe this bent up a little bit, but for the most part, the bolt does all the work. So, definitely a good tool. Nothing wrong with this tool. Really wouldn't see myself spending too much money on a set like this. So got a brake caliper tool, and this is a metric, larger size tap and die set. And I bought this specifically. And I bought this specifically to repair the threads on the snout of a crankshaft. My customers try to replace his own harmonic balancer, and he, instead of just thread and crank bolt, I believe he tried to put it on his impact socket and just like run it in. Don't ask me why he thought that was a good idea, but of course they bring you the car after they destroy it. So I went out to Harbor Freight and bought this larger tap and die set that's metric. It was on a Toyota Tacoma, and so he only really ruined like maybe the first 4 or 5 threads. So I was able to, clean those threads up that he boogered up, and so I just cleaned up the threads and was able to get his bolt in there and got his harmonic balancer back on. So really the only reason why I bought this set is I needed a larger size tap and die set because it was a crank bolt. And but I've used it on other things since then, and it's been pretty good. It works pretty good. All right, so what's in this drawer here? We got all oil change stuff. I guess this is the only drawer I could say that's pretty much dedicated to one specific thing, I guess. I got oil filter pliers. I got some little sockets here to take off the filter housing. This is for BMWs. It also fits some Volvos as well. Let's see. Got a little universal thing for oil filters. Also got these like little strap style filter remover tools. This one specifically for Toyota. I believe this one right here fits like a Ford Fusion. And then this here is sort of a master set of these oil filter sockets to be able to open up the housing to get the filter cartridge out. So this is sort of a master set. We usually can find something in here that'll fit, most applications. We usually find something in here that'll fit it. So yeah, that's what's in this drawer. Also got one random pickup tool. All right, moving on to the next drawer. Got Pittsburgh radiator pressure test kit. I did a demo using this. Pretty fond of this tool. Works pretty good. I'm able to pressure test pretty much every cooling system. I haven't ran across a cooling system that I couldn't pressure test yet. Let's see. I got a cam crank alignment tool to be able to get the valve timing set on Volvos. This is specifically for Volvo, and you guys out there that work on Volvo know exactly what this is. So can't really get much done on Volvo without this tool. And so got the alignment tool for Volvo. Set here for rounded fasteners. This is by Irwin, and also have another set by Craftsman. And the reason why I have 2 sets, I'll just give you an example here. You can see on this particular set, it has a hex on the end to be able to get a wrench on, and this sometimes get in the way depending on where you're trying to get the fastener off. That fat end may prevent you from getting it in somewhere. Whereas the Craftsman set is more socket-like, and it doesn't have that fat portion on there. And this actually was the case as to why I bought this set, because this was too fat where I was trying to get out. So I ended up finding this Craftsman set, and it worked for me. And there's also a few more sockets in here than the Irwin. But in my opinion, the Irwin actually grips better. Our Craftsman torque wrench here. I've actually had this for a really long time as well. Put many engines together with this. Although I don't use it too much these days, I use my snap-on because it's more convenient. I can switch it from foot-pounds straight to torque to yield without having to go and get angle gauge. So it really speeds the time up. So, and then here I just got some cheap screw extractors. I don't really recommend these. It's from Pittsburgh. However, I have gotten some stuck or broken bolts out with these, but they're cheap. I don't really recommend them. All right, so that brings us down to my last drawer. And in this drawer, I got this Astro brake service kit for drum brakes. So I got this, you know, in case we get some drum brakes. And I passed the drum brake job over to Des and let him deal with it. Next to it, I got a sniffer, refrigerant sniffer. This is, believe it or not, a Harbor Freight. And the thing works pretty good, man. Yeah, it sniffs refrigerant with the best of them. And it comes in a nice little suitcase thing. So, yeah, refrigerant sniffer. Got a oil pressure test kit by US General, which is also Harbor Freight. And it's pretty accurate. I check oil pressure with it whenever necessary. It works. All right. And also I got a little Craftsman scan tool. It's perfect to erase trouble codes. You don't have to pull your big tool out just to erase the light. It's convenient and quick, stuff like that. So here is my big launch scan tool right here. I only really use this scan tool for if I need a scan tool for bi-directional controls. It's a pretty good scan tool to communicate with all the modules. It can pretty much command anything on and off. It's a pretty powerful scan tool. Actually, Des Autotech did a demo on this scan tool on his channel. If you're curious to see what this scan tool looks like, I'll leave a description. I'll put a link in the description so you can go to Des Autotech and take a look at this scan tool. All right, guys, that concludes the tour on my small Stanley toolbox and my large Husky toolbox there. Shout out to my wife who actually bought me that large Husky toolbox. So stay tuned for part 3, guys, when we go and tour this particular toolbox here. This is Brian916. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one.